So we're just going to kind of go through step by step of the mortgage process. And again, sort of like John, not really get into the weeds because each mortgage is different. Every person has a unique situation, has unique things, but there are very many things that are all the same for every buyer. So that's sort of what we're going to do.
All right, so the first step is pre-qualification, and the purpose of that is obviously to determine how much you can afford before you begin your house hunting. I would say that my number one tip for anyone out there is I always say meet with a licensed lender and get pre-qualified 3 to 6 months before you're thinking you want to make an offer. What typically happens though is husband and wife are together, they're thinking maybe we want to buy a house, one of them gets on Zillow or whatever, they start looking at houses, they find the house they want, they call the agent, hey, we want to go see this house, and they haven't met with the lender. And where this creates a big problem is Credit Karma and a lot of these resources that are available to us now are very misleading, and they're misleading, and one of the biggest questions that I get asked almost weekly, daily even, is how come when you performed your credit pull, you pulled my credit, which we were required to do, how come your scores say I'm 650, 670, and Credit Karma said I was a 750? This creates a big problem because Credit Karma uses a model, a scoring model called Vantage 360, and it's the model that most of the banks use to qualify you for a credit card. Well, getting a credit card with a $1,000 or a $2,000 balance is a heck of a lot different than getting a $200,000 or $300,000 mortgage. The model that we lenders are required to use is with the tri-merge credit report. It's a lot tougher. Shows every blemish, every wart, everything you've ever done wrong, every time you cussed at your parents. It's in that tri-merge credit report. That's what we are required to use. So the purpose of meeting with a lender early, before you find that house, is we can look at that and see your real scores, because those are the only ones that count. And in every lender, we all have to use that. But we can tell you how you can get your scores up. We can see that, for instance, 35% of your immediate credit score is simply a function of your current balance on your revolving lines of credit, meaning your credit cards, as a percentage of your total credit limit. So, for instance, we have someone that's got a $10,000 limit on a Bank of America card, and they're at $9,000 balance. They're at 90% of their credit limit. They're not getting anywhere near the points that they would if it was down to, say, $1,000. So as you get the percentage lower, credit scores go up. That'd be nice to know 6 months before you're ready to make an offer on a house so that you can make some adjustments. Why is that important? Because different loan programs have thresholds where the pricing or the rate that you're going to get is a heck of a lot better if you're over 640, if you're over 680. Okay, the pre-qual is done to determine how much you can afford to spend on a home. Realtors want you to get pre-qualified because, frankly, John doesn't want to drive people around in his car that are going to make an offer on a house that can't even get a loan. So, and you don't want to waste your time and be embarrassed about it. The lender's going to ask you for basic financial information to start your application. As soon as we get your information, first thing we do is the tri-merge credit report. We pull that credit report, populate all the liabilities into your file, we get your income, and we see what you can qualify for. The credit pull is critical. Then we run through your application with what's called an automated underwriting system, AUS. This is direct through Fannie Mae. It's also called desktop underwriting system. Lenders run through all the information. They'll give you the pre-qual and let your realtor know how much you're qualified for. I see some folks that want to know just how much house can I buy, and then I see some folks that tell me this is my budget. My sister, when she bought her first house, said this is what I can afford, this is my budget, I don't want to go $1 over. So you and my realtor need to figure out how to extrapolate, tell me how much house I can buy to keep my payment at that level because I can't go over it. That's the smart way to do it. Not everybody does it that way. All right, credit score. I had already jumped ahead on that. So 35% payment history. Boy, if I knew then what I know now, I would have never canceled that stupid credit card that I got when I was in college. Those cards that you've had for a long time have a lot of weight on your credit score. So the highest credit score you can get is a 850, and I've only seen one 840 in my life. And payment history is a big part. Your balances, the amounts that you owed, obviously, new credit, length of credit history, types of credit. Debt to income ratio is all of your monthly obligations divided by your gross monthly income. Think of the actual mortgage process as the seat of the stool, and the three legs, the three-legged stool. Debt to income is one piece of it. It's how much house are you buying, what that estimated payment as a percentage of your gross monthly income. What is that number? What percentage-wise, debt to income? Loan to value, how much are you borrowing against the value of the house? And credit score. Those three pieces are big for us. We use acronyms in our business, so everything's got, DTI, LTV. All loan programs have a max DTI ratio. If your DTI is over the max cutoff, you won't be qualified for that type of loan. There are ways to lower your DTI, looking at lower sales price, paying off debt. All right, formal loan application. Once you have a ratified contract on property, your lender will start the formal loan application. The lender requests its closing costs from your settlement company. You'll be given the option to lock your interest rate. The lender will send you the formal loan application documents, disclosures for you to sign. The way that we do that is we give the borrower the option, if it's more convenient for them to sign those documents electronically. Obviously, we have the ability to do that. I've always tried to meet people in person because I want to sit down with them, go through the loan application as they're filling it out, and be there to answer any questions that they have. Obviously, in the fast-paced environment that we're in now, sometimes that's not always easy. Option to lock the rate. Right now, rates have been plummeting the last week. You have the option at the time that you're signing your loan application to, if you like where rates are and the quote that you're getting, you can lock that. We typically will do a 45-day rate lock because as a company, we're pretty fast and we're typically on average going to go from start to finish in about 26 days. So that 45-day lock gives us a buffer in the event that when John's doing his inspection stuff, if something comes up and a septic has to be replaced or a well needs to be shocked, there's time to go contract somebody to get that taken care of, and we're still going to get to settlement without your rate expiring. Okay, so that's important. All right, once you've signed your disclosures, your lender will request your personal financial documents that are required for underwriting. Lender will also be ordering your home appraisal at this time as well. These are pretty standard. I would say that just about any lender in the country is at a minimum going to ask you for these things. Pay stubs, they want to see your most recent 30 days pay stubs. So if you just switched jobs, I had someone that was closing and he had just switched jobs, and thank goodness he got his last pay stub like a week before we went to closing. We needed that. They want to see 30 days. Your W-2s or 1099s for the past 2 years, pretty standard. Tax returns, other income, if you've got Social Security, retirement, disability, bank statements. They want to see 2 months. They want to see that in this contract that John wrote for you where you said, I'm putting 10% down, they want to see that you have the 10%. And they want to see that it's not in a vault in the backyard from drug money or something, you know, so we're required to source where these monies came from, and we have to show that they're from a legitimate source. Photo ID, I mean, with cell phones now, I just get people to take a picture of it, text it to me, and if you're in the military, certificate of eligibility. Ordering the appraisal, if you're on a really tight, if John's trying to get this closed, because the only way that the seller would accept your offer was the promise that you guys could close in 27 days or something like that, then we might have to order that appraisal immediately, even though you haven't had an opportunity to go get a home inspection done. So more often than not, people want to wait to order that appraisal until they've seen the inspection, because the inspection could blow the deal up. There could be some things with that house that prevent you from wanting to go forward because the seller is going to fix them. And then that saves you the $475 of an appraisal. In a tight situation where we're on a really tight line, sometimes we don't have that option, but that's probably the exception rather than the rule. Settlement or closing happens once you've been formally approved. The lender's closing department will work with your chosen settlement company to clear all your docs. If you sign a closing, on your closing date, you'll sign the documents to transfer ownership. John hands you the keys. We do a little dance. Everybody's happy. We go get a beer.
And then you start moving boxes.
And I look for any excuse to take people out for beer after closing. Yeah.
You want it after.
Yes, but the title companies today, because of TRID, this has really just become more of a formality, because you've seen the closing document 3 days before you go to settlement anyway. So you know how much cash you're bringing, you know the terms, you know everything. Really, when you get to settlement, all you're doing is just giving your wrist a workout because you're just going to sign. There's no surprises. You've already been approved.
But we're here working for you. That's the one thing that your lender should always be doing, is working for you. Same as your realtor, they're working for you. We want to see you get into this house. We want to see you get your loan. So that's our job. So. Now you're a proud owner of a new home.